Morning. Yeah. Cases mean as we said, this should be repeated. The groups. We had a detailed discussion about the process and the control environment. We have a good foundation to start the assessment and planning activity. I hope that you are comfortable enough about the subject because I hope that you have gone through this process. You may be auditing or auditor last 2-3 years. With that experience, I hope you can catch this. But as the syllabus we have, my advice is you have to participate lectures at least more than 8%. That's really good. Otherwise, we are doing a subject, state of doing subject and getting the degree. That's not good, right? Try to attend lectures. That sign. Right. So today we are starting planning and risk assessment. So as I said, in audit process we have 3 layers. What are the 3 layers? Planning, execution, and conclusion. So the planning we can divide it into 2: planning and risk assessment. Planning and risk assessment. So from the topic we can understand what it is. Planning and risk assessment. Do we need to plan audit? Definitely. Whatever the thing. So if you want to get outcome, you want to achieve a kind of a goal, you have to have a plan. Plan about what? Plan about output, plan about time, plan about resources. We have to plan it. So the risk assessment is a part of that. If you have a proper risk assessment only, we can do a proper plan. I hope that the people in virtual mode, you will have it. Are we audible enough?
Yes, sir.
Right. So you are free to ask any questions. I know that you are familiar with audit process. Some of you have done that audit training. You can ask, challenge, whatever the things I'm discussing. Today onwards, we are discussing audit process, right? Last week, actually, we understood control environment. Control environment, why we should worry about controls as auditor. So those things we discussed. Today, I directly go to audit process, right? Today, lecture is very important. Why? Planning and risk assessment. If you want to do a proper audit, proper execution, you should have a proper plan. And then you want to get a proper outcome from conclusion, you should have a plan. So the planning and risk assessment is the kind of a heart of audit. So some of the audit juniors, seniors, managers are lacking about what? Audit planning. They are involving in the audit process at the latter part of the audit, like conclusion stage. That is not correct. You should learn planning first. Planning and risk assessment, then you can easily continue. That's execution. And then you can get the outcome from the conclusion. Right? So then planning and risk assessment really important. So do a proper plan. To have a proper plan, you should have a proper understanding about the engagement and the business. Right? You know the word about planning, right? So if you have an exam, we have to plan. If you are going for a trip, definitely we should plan. Where we are going, how we are going, who are the participants, at what time we are to go, at what time we are leaving, right? That's your plan, right? Same theory here. Same theory. And risk assessment. What it means to you? Do we need to assess the risk? Is there a risk in this process? Yes, what is the risk? Can say that. Risk. What's the risk we are discussing about? Audit risk. What it means to you? Audit. Auditors are facing for risk. Risk is a kind of a general term, right? As I discussed, it's a deviation from the expectation. Whatever things you are expecting, if you can't achieve that, is a risk. At whatever the place you are facing that kind of situation, if you can't achieve your goal, definitely there's a risk. In such a situation, what should we do to achieve that? We have to implement control. Answer for risk is what? Control. Control, right? So then as auditor, we have to assess the risk. What's the risk? What is the risk? How we can define that audit risk? What's your expectation about audit risk? Auditor, so then as a doctor, what is the risk he has? As a teacher, as a lecturer, do I have a risk? Yes, I have. What's the risk? Whether you are learning properly or not, you are getting good results or not. Is that impact to me? Emotionally as well as financially and reputationally. අපෝ ඒ සර් ගිහිල්ලා තේරම ළමයි වේද එළෝ දෙයක් ඉගෙන ගන්න. මේක කියන්න as I said, I'm teaching for the hobby, right? The compensation given by the staff is a positive thing, but it's not a motivation to me. Motivation is I want to see that difference and improvement from your own. So at the end of the day, if I'm planning to have kind of a face-to-face discussion with you about auditing. You can talk in auditing language with me, so that's the ultimate happiness. And then at the end of the day, I'm marking your exam papers, right? So at that time, we have to do a proper response to me. At the lecture, anyhow, we have to learn this subject. So that's the ultimate target. So as I said, the final target is not getting a kind of a pass mark at the exam. That's a byproduct of the lecture series. So the ultimate outcome is what? We have to learn the theory of real audit process. Because within another 2-3 years, you may be an auditor. You may be the auditee, right? So to handle that, you should learn this. So then, some of the members, the last week, one of your colleagues talked to me. When I was in 2014, he was one of my clients, right? So now, still he is a part of finance division. Still that audit is going on. He told that, so then I can understand what auditors are doing now. So I can properly respond to them. Exactly. So the auditors are doing their job, right? So you all are doing your job. So if you have kind of a the good relationship in the sense, if you want to do proper management about audit, you have to learn that audit process. Otherwise, so the auditor will play around you. So they will ask additional, the unnecessary things, unnecessary details about audit scope. So you can say that here external audit this, So why you asking this kind of thing? To do that, you should have a proper understanding of that. So that's the benefit. So take that benefit and target on that. So then final result is a byproduct of the series, right? Okay. So then risk assessment, risk about audit risk. What is that? Last week we discussed accession. What it means to you, accession? We had a statement of financial position and balance sheet. We had accession. Right? So financial statement. Financial statements. So as I said, this consisted with two elements. What are they? Disclosures and account balance. Account balance, right? As auditor, you have to audit these two things. So the financial statement consisted with these two things. Other than that, what else we have? The paper. It is a the scan copy. We don't have that physical paper. Numbers and the disclosures. For that, the part the scan of that, you have that content, right? What are the ingredients? It consisted of. So the here financial statement consisted with these two elements. Account balance is this process. Example, account balance, depreciation, electricity, PP&E, cash, look of these amounts, right? Amount. Disclosures, related party disclosure, fair value disclosure, contingent liability, contingent assets, many disclosures. All together we can say set of financial statement, right? Other than that, we have to do one more thing. What is that? Transactions. So as auditor, we have to responsible to audit part, account balance, disclosures and account balance, disclosures and keep in mind, I am repeating again and again, right? So that don't take much time to the ready for the exam. If you can learn ongoing learning is a must for auditing. No need extra time to ready for the audit exam. Day by day, add things. Today, you can the new numbers, you can add to your memory. As auditor, we have to do three things. The disclosures, account balances, and so the transactions. What it means to you? These disclosures and account balances are appeared in the financial statement because of transactions. During the period, we have millions of transactions. As a result of that, we have disclosures and account balances. So, as auditor, you can't only look at this because you should know the root cause, the substance of the transaction. Otherwise, you can't audit that too well. First, you should go through the transaction process. Then only you can understand process and outcome. Right? So then I'm asking a question. Do we need to check all the disclosures, account balances, and transactions? Do we need to check all the transactions, all the disclosures? We are only checking significant accounts and significant disclosures. Significant accounts and significant disclosures. concept is transaction column. So if we can we select, can we identify significant transaction? Typical can be that. So in a financial statement, we can, disclosures we can count related party, asset pledge, then fair value, and then earning per share. So we can count disclosures, right? Account balances also we can count. We can, we have kind of a limited number of account balance. We don't have much, right? So then we can select what are the significant account balances and disclosures. How about transaction? During the period, we have millions of transactions. Can we select what are the significant stakeholders? So then what we can do? We are going to cluster this transaction. We are going to group this transaction based on the similar characteristics. So then those classes can be mentioned as, that we call as significant class of transaction scores. Significant class of transaction. Significant class of transaction. Sorry, class of transactions, you have to select what are the significant class of transactions. First, you have to identify class of transaction based on similar characteristics. Right? So then, payroll related transaction, PP&E related transaction, cash receipt related transaction. Likewise, you can, have a kind of a allocation. Based on that, you have to select what are the significant classes. So then, as auditor, you have to check this group. From that, you have to audit what? Only significant things. Significant to whom? Significant to what? What's the basis to measure the significant? Yeah. Significant can what it means to you? Significant. So we have a definition for significant. Counting standard LKS for significant. What is that? It's relevant for stakeholders. If it is so significant, what are significant they are there, right? It will impact to you. If it is not significant, otherwise it may be immaterial, not significant. Significant means these things will impact to stakeholders' decision. So then you have to evaluate the stakeholders to that company. And then you have to identify what are the significant accounts, significant disclosures, significant class of transactions. So after selecting that, you have to perform an audit. Performing audit procedures, right? Performing audit procedures for what? To gather audit evidence. To gather audit evidence to what's the purpose? To evaluate this account balances and disclosures and transactions. Evaluate means evaluate. As I discussed last week, we have assistance, right? We have assistance given by the management to the public. What are the assistance? We have assistance related to the balance sheet. We have assistance related to the P&L. Assistance, example. Last week you told me, right? Not a new thing. You know the other P&L, right? This is what they were working at. This balance. Okay, you asking. Okay, valuation. Valuation. Completeness. Yes, those are assistants. Assistants are the message given by the management to the public. What they are telling? as at the reporting date, so they are signing financials. In the balance sheet, we have the property, plant and equipment, 10 million. What's the message they are giving? They are giving, May year end date, and the picture, PPE, 10 million. It means, as at the reporting date, the valuation is correct. Is about 10 million. So as at the reporting date, we have right and obligation over, we have a right over asset 10 million, right? So we can confirm the completeness of asset. We don't have others asset in our books. So there's no asset deficit in our books. So these are the complete set of assets. We have 5 buildings, all 5 buildings are in the books. Right? Completeness. Valuation. Right? So we have disclosed all the related disclosures as per LK 16. That's presentation and disclosure. So those are the message given by the management to the public about PP&E balance. Through whatever the account balance and disclosure, they are giving assessments to the public. Assessment to the public. So then, this financial statement prepared by the management, they are giving a message to the public. So, what's your duty now? What's your duty now? Your duty is to issue audit opinion as well as report over these balances and disclosures. You have to say that these balances are one fair. So then management has given a kind of assurance, assertions. Now you are going to give assurance over these balances. So then it's creating kind of a risk. What is the risk? So this financial statement was prepared by the management. They have given a kind of a confirmation to the public about account balance and disclosures. We have a risk whether these assessments are correct or not. That's the risk. What's the objective of us as auditor? Issuing an opinion. What's your objective over this degree? Something in the degree, right? So the achieving a target, we have many expectations. What are the deviation for the expectation? Is the risk. So as auditor, what's the expectation? To issue a correct audit opinion over what? Account balances and disclosures. So then, what is the deviation? What's the challenge? So that was prepared by the management, and they have given set of, the communication to the public. So that we don't know whether these are accurate or not. So that's the challenge. To address that challenge, so that challenge can be defined as what? Audit risk. So then simply what is that? So the auditor here to issue a financial report over account balances and disclosures. This account balances and disclosures may be having many misstatements. The risk of issuing incorrect opinion is the incorrect audit opinion. Once you are issuing the clean opinion, after issuing true and fair view, there may be material misstatements in the statement. That's the audit risk. So what is the expectation? After issuing once you are issuing your clean opinion, what's the expectation you have? So this financial statement doesn't have any misstatement. Right? That's the expectation. But there may be deviation. So that's only. I hope that you are okay about the consent. So as auditor, we are doing risk-based auditing. As auditor, we have continuous risk about subject matter. So before issuing audit opinion, we have to assess that at the planning stage. We have to assess assess that to the accession level, as well as overall financial statement. What's the accession level? We discussed, right? In financial statement, in controls, in audit process, we have two different levels. It may be accession levels and the financial statement level. Accession level. So in the balances, disclosures, as we discussed, we have accessions, right? Existence, completeness, right and obligation, likewise accession. So cash and bank balance, we have accession. PPME, we have accession. So the cash and bank, we have existence. PPME, we have existence. So then there are controls related to that existence. So like last week we discussed the existence, cash and bank and PPME are two different assets. Two different standards, right? Still is the asset. Cash and PPME. And you know it, right? So the both are assets. It's covered as asset definition. So it's a resource we are controlling as a result of past event with the expectation of future economic benefits. Right? But PPME, the building, the accession of existence, differs with the existence accession about cash. It's a different of accession given by the management. Creating a risk, right? So then as auditor, we are going to take that. So then we have two balances. Let's say it's a hotel. So we have PPME, under PPME we have a building. Under current asset we have cash, two assets. So then management has given a message to the public as at this date we have this much of hotel building, this much of cash, right? Two assets. In the balance sheet, we have set of accessions. From this accession, we can take out this existence accession, right? Existence. So the how about existence accession?
Actually, the amount of money they are
Yes. What amount of money as at that date they are in the business, correct? Existence. Existence about building. The how many buildings we have as at that date? So that's the existence. As at that date, we should have this amount of buildings, total properties in the company. So then, again, I'm asking valuation accession. Two different accessions, right? PPE, cash. Existence, and then valuation. Two different accessions, right? So the cash, again, existence, valuation, PPME existence and valuation. You can imagine. So the as at reporting date, how much of cash you have in the saving accounts, cash in hand, and whatever the cash and cash equivalents, right? So the amount you can say existence. So it's really ensure the existence. Really difficult as auditor. Why? The kind of a high liquid asset, cash. So the existence of PPM is really easy. So they can count number of buildings. That big a method theater. That building a method theater, right? That big a building is that big a books with a PPM. That big a all of these suddenly that look like a theater. Piece with the so it's a asset under current assets. So the other balance sheet they become assets. Making existence එක doubt තියෙන මොනවද? foreign account අරන් යන්නේ මොනවද? building එක අරන් යනවද? building එක අරන් යන්නේ මොකක්ද? cash may be the existence down. Right? So you can feel. So then after preparing the financial statement for SAM, they are telling that as at the reporting date, we have SAM building and cash. About existence, but the high risk about cash. There's a high doubt. As auditor, we have a high risk about that asset. Why? Management is telling that you have to ensure that. After that, you have to building negative auditor. Auditor building negative balance can show that existence. And by cash, not that. Right? How about valuation? What? So from the counter, you can get the cash count, right? Let's say, as at this day, it consists with 1 million in cash in the locker. Same one, same cash, 1 million. If we have 4 different parties, after getting the count, it's 1 million. Valuation, there's no doubt. How about the valuation about this building? Very difficult. So then they got 2 different values. We can't give exact value to this building. Right? So if we can get a valuation expert, 2 different valuation experts are giving different answers. So that then the valuation gap may be reduced, but 2 different answers. Based on the valuation technique, that answer may be different. Right? Level 2 valuation or level 3 valuation. Based on the observable and unobservable inputs, the answer may be different. Right? So then it's creating a risk about valuation. So then as a auditor, you can understand that the risk assessment should be performed to the accession level. Understand that? You know accessions. So then you have kind of understanding about the risk about accession. Accession is what? So this is kind of advanced auditing, right? So that if you want to learn that taste of auditing, you should learn this. So as the management, they have given set of communication to the public through these disclosures and balances. So what are the communications? Accessions. Before we are issuing that audit opinion to the public, we have to ensure these accessions are there or not. So it's creating a doubt. What's the doubt? Whether these accessions are correct or not. That is the audit risk. To address that, what we have to do? We have to do sufficient and appropriate procedures together. Right? So that is the basic understanding you should have before we are starting the lesson. Right? Today we are starting what? Audit planning and risk assessment. Planning is a basic thing. You know that word, right? So then difficult word is what? Risk assessment. I hope that you get the understanding about that as well. Then we can freely start this. Planning and risk assessment. If you have any doubts, questions, don't raise, right? Okay. So these are learning objectives. End of the day, you should familiar with this area so that you can read through this. So whatever the content we are discussing about as learning objectives and content, end of the day, check that whether this lecture has covered this area. Then again, you can question like, apply risk assessment procedure to identify risk in relation to related party transactions. Going concern. So that was the given content to the subject. So that's a kind of a guideline. So these were developed by whom? Not myself, right? These were developed by the people who did this curriculum to the degree. So it came kind of a deep research. So I went through that research. It's a kind of a very complex. Complex actually is detailed research. After doing a detailed research on SCCS, Dima, Yapura, and Galle and different streams, So they may come up with a kind of a conclusion to develop this degree. And after getting that input, they have created this degree calculus. So it contains different aspects, different targets. So after going through this degree, it's a must to get a good outcome, good, the professional person. So that's a target created. So they have given this content. So the here second year, second semester, right? Second year, second semester, we have written assurance. They have given the content. So this was given. Other things I have prepared. So then you have a right to evaluate this and question from me, sir, I don't know what it is. This is the expectation from the degree. We have done this, but we have not covered this. So this was extracted from where? So we have this. We have this. Each and every subject. We have this, right? So the subject subject so they are giving this. So we are at where? And then this assessment. And then this is the content, right? This is the content. This is where I took this content, right? So then you have a right, you have to get this, all the papers, all this course outline for syllabus, evaluate whether you know it or not. So as a lecturer, so I should be responsible to give proper knowledge about this aspect. So that's why I have extracted that content here. So at the end of the day, after completing audit planning and risk assessment, you should know this practically as well as theoretically. You should have that planning, right? So here I'm not going to explain this. We have already discussed. Right? What's the assurance engagement? Now I'm planning what? From planning activities to risk assessment, I'm going to discuss planning and risk assessment. So then, what do you think about that? So then, we are going to plan. So that we are having a new audit plan or recurring plan. We are going to start audit. So then, I'm going to do the planning activity. What we have to do? So, what it means to you that new audit plan and the recurring audit plan? Maybe a new audit engagement. New client, new audit engagement, previous client, previous audit engagement. We are continuing them. Different scenario. So as audit partner or senior manager, you may have new audit client. So that client may be the new customer to your firm. So then this come up with a request to do audit engagement. So that engagement is a new engagement today. Right? So then new client, new client, new engagement. Right? Engagement may be statutory audit, right? Statutory audit engagement. So then next year he's coming. So then he's not a new client, right? Client continuing. Client continuous. Engagement, same engagement, we have to repeat here. Annually we have to do it. Engagement continuous. So likewise we may have different engagement. Sometimes. So that we are doing the current audit. They come up with some other specific assurance. he has a kind of a bank loan. So there are some kind of a, the financial governance. Bank has requested to get a kind of assurance report over these ratios. So he's requesting. What is this? It's a old client, it's a new engagement. Client same, new engagement, new request. Doctor කෙනෙක්ට තමයි ලෙඩා එකයි එතන ලෙඩා. ලෙඩා වගේම තමයි ඒකත් ප්‍රොෆෙෂන් එකක්. දැන් මම ඇඩ්වාන්ස් ඔඩිටින් උත් උගන්වනවා කෝපරේට් ඩිපාර්ට්මන්ට් උගන්වනවා. ස්ටුඩන්ට් එකයි සබ්ජෙක්ට් දෙකක්. ඒ වගේ තමයි. ක්ලයන්ට් එකයි එන්ගේජ්මන්ට් දෙකක්. බෙහෙත් දෙකක් දෙනවා. අපි බෙහෙත් දෙන්නේ කාටද? කම්පැනි වලට. ડોක්ටර් බෙහෙත් දෙන්නේ කාටද? මිනිස්සුන්ට. කම්පැනි වලට බෙහෙත් දෙන කට්ටිය තමයි ඔඩිටර්ස්ලා. නේද? ඇඩ්වයිසර්ස්ලා. Audit and assurance. Audit and assurance. Under assurance, audit and assurance, we have non-assurance engagement, advisory. So the company let down now, we have to take probably. හැබැයි යාළුවගේ වෙනස කීයද ප්‍රොමෝට් කරන්නේ නේද? අපි හොඳයි කියලා. So that's a code of ethics. මම හිතනවා ડોක්ටර්ස් හොඳ නැහැ කියනවනේ. ડોක්ටර්ස් වලට වඩා හොඳ ethics ඔඩිටර්ස් වලට තියෙනවා. ඒක මාර රෙපියුට්. ඇයි එහෙම කියන්නේ? මම දැකලා තියෙනවා කියන්නේ. medicine and dealing with doctors and all. I have some friends. So then the ethics they have. So we are doing a kind of a private sector business. So that we have a set of ethics more than that. I feel that. That's my personal view. While parents and doctors like that. Take a doctor can take a society take a required thing, right? It's a part of that. It's a very essential service to the public. And audit නැතුව ටික දවසක් දුවන්න පුළුවන් නේද? Doctors නැතුව ටික දවසක් දුවන්න බැහැ. Long run එකේ we want auditors. Definitely. Take a two different sectors, but the ethics perspective, auditors are maybe on other sectors. Right? So then we have new audit engagement. And then after audit engagement එකක් තියෙනවා. Audit company එකක් තියෙනවා. So as auditor and as audit manager imagine we are going to start audit. So then firstly what we have to do? The risk. Right? Assess the risk. Yeah, in the process of that. Before that, so the current. Yes, we should do proper understanding about the industry, client. To do that, correct. We have to do procedures to understand the industry, understand the client, whether he is doing legal business or not. Are they involving with the pyramid transactions, money laundering? So these days we are dealing with these kind of topics, right? Many people were cheated from the people who are doing this current pyramid transactions, right? Illegal operations. So we need to understand the process. You should go through the process, right? And you should understand the process. To understand the business first, industry first. Then what we have to do? Firstly, with that basic understanding, you have to evaluate the independence with the company. The company as well as the engagement. Independence. To issue the independent audit opinion, we should have proper tri parties. What are tri parties? Statement, auditor, and the general public. Otherwise, we don't want the assurance. As auditor, we are issuing an assurance report. Assurance report the financial prepared by the management to the public. So to do this properly, we have to be independent. We have to be an independent auditor. So before accepting the audit engagement of client, we have to evaluate that independence. It's a kind of a routine process. Today we have independent, next day it will be reduced. මොකද වෙන්නේ? සමාන audit engagement කරගෙන යනකොට client පවුලේ සමාජිකයෙක් වෙනවා. client පවුලේ සමාජිකයෙක් වුණාම ඊළඟ audit එකට independence නැති වෙලා යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක scenarios තියෙනවා. client පවුලේ සමාජිකයෙක් වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා scenarios කොටකින් කියන්න පුළුවන්. So then if you are starting audit engagement, so then management and the auditor in the same party. So then we don't have tri-party relationship here. So then auditor acting as the management. So whatever the things given by the management is issuing like that. Whatever the misstatements with the relationship they have, they can't disclose. It is not independent auditing. We have to evaluate that. As a independent auditor, we have to evaluate whether it's a related party or are we having any relationship? Is there any, familiarity, self-reveal, or advocacy, intimidation? Likewise, we may have different threats to independence, right? අපි කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේකේ management එක financial සාධන system එක develop කරලා තියෙන්නේ auditor. What do you think? Auditor has given kind of a design and structural advisors once they are developing their accounting system. So then, can they do audit? They can't. Why? So if there are any system issues or something like that, so the blame is on our hand. We are not going to disclose that. So that's a kind of independent issue. That is called self-review threat. Self-review that you have done that, you are again reviewing. Self-review, you are reviewing you. So then you are not going to have your mistakes. So it's a risk. So because of that risk, you can't accept that client. Firstly, you have a set of audit engagement, you have to evaluate your independence and accept your client or engagement. Client or engagement, what is that? Client or engagement. Sometimes you have to accept the client. You can accept that client. Some engagement you can't accept. Client acceptance means, we have to evaluate the structure, the management team, business process. That's about client acceptance, right? Yeah, for a business and partners and relationship can they give services to them in general terms? And then we have to evaluate what's his requirement, what the exact engagement he wants. So then we should evaluate our capacity, whether I can give that service. Sampat bank CFO adila karana sampat bank audit එක ඔයාලට දෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා. පොඩි firm එකක්. partners ලා දෙන්නයි ඉන්නේ. ළඟදී chartered accountant වල practice එක ගත්ත. chartered accountant දෙන්නෙක් තමයි කරන්නේ. So they can't do that. Why? They don't have experience and the capacity and IT tools to evaluate that kind of a big organization, right? So then we can't accept that engagement. Client can be accepted, but the engagement can't be accepted. So in a small company, we are doing this statutory audit. And end of the day, they are come up with a kind of a request. So in the payroll, they have a kind of a large reconciling items, payroll versus the general ledger. So they can't figure it out what it is. So they are, struggling to identify that. So they go to kind of investigation. So as auditor, that thing can't be used for the investigation, right? That thing can't be used for investigation. Because it's a kind of a self-interested threat, and then it's creating kind of a self-review threat, right? Then again, they are requesting kind of a valuation about some assets. You are giving that audit service for kind of a biological asset farm, right? So they should do valuation for boiler birds in the farm, right? So do that validation, they are requesting support from us as audit team. Can you all give kind of a model to do this? So you all can charge to your bill, whatever the additional service you are getting. That's a request. Can you do that? Fine, why? As auditor is creating a self-referred file. So end of the day, you have to audit that. If you are the person given this model to them to do the validation, can you all figure it out any loopholes in that model? So they can come up with, the directors can come and say, so that you have developed the model, I will tell you the weaknesses over this. So it's creating a self-referred. So as the effect of the auditor, some of the engagement you can't do because it will impact to the independence. Right? So then, what's my point? Before you are accepting the client or engagement, you have to evaluate the independent. Right? Firstly, you should accept the client whether he can do it or not. Drugs deal with the companion, now illegal, get the law. The protein manufacturing weapons, manufacturing drugs, drugs in the sense illegal drugs. Auditor. So if you are the auditor, what can you do next? Account ke andar adi, mama chartered accountant, mama sign kar. Can't do that. Firstly, you have to evaluate the client, then the engagement, and then accept the client. Right? Client acceptance is the first step. එහෙම නේද සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. What engagement set එකට යනවනම් උනේ engage වෙලා තියෙන කට්ටිය, වැඩි කරලක තියෙන කට්ටිය, දැන් ඉතින් වැඩි කරන්න ඉන්න කට්ටිය, වැඩි නොකරන්න ඉන්න කට්ටිය. වැඩි කරන්න ඕනම කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ ඉතින්. වැඩි කරන එක ඔප්ෂන් එකක්. වැඩි ඒ කියන්නේ ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකටම යන්න එපා. අනිත් කෙනා වැඩි කරාට කවදාවත් වැඩි කරන්න එපා. ගොඩක් කට්ටිය වැඩි කරන්නේ අනිත් කෙනා වැඩි කරන්නේ. යාළුවෝ වැඩි කරන නිසා මම මාත් වැඩි කරන්නේ. ඒක කරන්න එපා. එහෙනම් මොකද? ඒකත් kind of engagement. Before you are coming to that engagement, you have to කරන්න ඕනේ. engagement accept කරන්න ඕනේ නේද? එතන මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? client evaluate කරලා බලන්න ඕනේ. risk එකක් තියෙනවද? නේද? drugs deal කරනවද? illegal operation එකක්ද කරන්නේ? මට මේ engagement එක continue කරගන්න පුළුවන් නේද? So you have to evaluate that before you are accepting. You have to evaluate that first. And then only you can plan things. Wedding එක plan කරන්න ඊට පස්සේ තමයි. සමහර කටේ wedding එක plan කරන කාලේ ඒක කරන්න කිව්වොත් plan කරලා ඉතින් ඒක නවත්තන simulation උත් තියෙනවා. In this you have to first evaluate the client. Right? So then you can prepare what? Engagement letter. Can prepare the engagement letter. Can prepare this. Engagement letter. So whatever the condition and scope and everything will be included here. Engagement letter. Before that, we need some areas to discuss. Go through that and come here. These are basic things I have already discussed, right? Don't need to explain these things. So we are discussing the accepting client and what are the initial things we have to do as a audit, right? So here we have mentioned the basic elements of a audit engagement. The absolute opinion we are not issuing 100% opinion because we are doing sample testing and we are only issuing high level assurance or low level assurance, right? So the once you are issuing assurance engagement, in assurance engagement we have 5 different elements. We can say that first tri-party relationship, subject matter, criteria, and evidence, and then report. So these are elements of a assurance engagement. Whatever the assurance engagement, you can have these elements. This is the content of the assurance engagement. We have different assurance engagement. What's the most common assurance engagement? Technical audit. Other than that, we have specific engagement and consolidation related engagement, and then review engagement. Whatever the assurance, high level or low level, we have this criteria. You should identify this, right? But in the agreed upon procedure, we don't have this agreed upon procedure. What? Is a non-assurance engagement. There we don't have assurance. Agreed upon procedure, AUP. මේ වචනේ අහලා තිබුණේ පාඩ වෙන්නේ AUP. AUP, agreed upon procedures. We are learning this where once we are discussing area number 7 or 6 or 7. Other assurance related engagements we are discussing AUP, agreed upon procedure. So what is that? We are agreeing with a set of procedures. So likewise, previously I discussed in the payroll system there may be some differences, right? So then management wants to figure it out what are these differences. So then as auditor, what we can do? So that we can entry some kind of a set of procedures and we are issuing actual final report to the management. So in that engagement, we don't have tri-parties. Management and auditor. Management has the problem. So they are requesting advice from the auditor. He is giving the service. There's no assurance, right? You should know you should have a feeling about assurance. Assurance means we are telling we are giving an opinion about the subject matter because prepared by a third party to another party. That's assurance. Whatever the such kind of scenario, we can say that we can identify these elements. Tri-parties. Tri-parties do not have assurance. Basic thing is we have to have kind of identification about three parties. Like I mentioned, let's say there's a bank, they are requesting a governance assurance report. Governance assurance report. So the governance in an agreement, there may be conditions. So as a borrower, you have to comply with these financial governance. Governance in the sense financial, the financial term, financial related conditions. You have to maintain interest cover this much. Should have profit after that this rate, right? The GP margin this. So those are the conditions given by the bank. So end of the day, they want to have kind of a assurance report over that calculation. So then as a auditor, they have to prepare opinion. They have done the calculation and they have used correct numbers from the financial statement and they have done the correct calculation. So they are issuing kind of an assurance report. It's a fair, true and fair calculation. So then What are the tri-parties? Management, bank, and auditor tri-parties. And subject matter, assurance financial ratio calculation is a subject matter. Criteria, right? So the criteria. So here, SLFRS and LKS. Can you refer that? Right? So then what is the criteria? Right? That's a guideline you have to take. So that's another thing. If it is assurance engagement, you have to have kind of a benchmark. There's a kind of framework. So this calculation, the financial, this ratio calculation, what's the framework? That's the guideline given by the bank to calculate the ratios. We don't have a common, the guideline in the accounting field. So these are the guidelines given for. Is there any standard for ratios? No, we don't have. We don't have a standard. So that standard, specific standard should be given by the bank. Right? So then you can refer this. So the calculation guidelines given by the bank. And then evidence. You have to collect evidence. So the evidence, calculation evidence, and then the people who prepare this report, everything should be taken. And then they have to issue the report. What that report says. According to the given guideline by the bank, so the management has done the ratio calculation. According to evidence collected, it's true and fair. That's the audit report. Is that a statutory report? No. Is that referring SLFRS and LPS? It's a specific audit report, specific assurance report. So then, basic thing is what? You should have ability to figure it out what are the main features of an assurance engagement. So that is the core competence you should have. So whatever the given engagement should have capability to identify these key elements, right? Take it around the right. Go forward. This was already discussed. This is the basic audit process. As I said, planning and risk assessment, execution and conclusion. So each and every day you should know where you are. So then what the class is going to follow on. එතකොට ඔයා කොහෙද ඉන්නේ? ටැබ් එකේ ඉන්නේ. මොන area එකේද ඔයා ඉන්නේ කියලා you should learn first. You should identify first. Then only you can catch. So audit and assurance is a kind of a very easy subject because of that. But lecture cut කරලා ඇවිල්ලා මේක අල්ලගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ මම promote කරන්නේ නැහැ lecture cut කරන්න. You can catch this. Yeah, so you know the audit process. You can identify. So I missed this part. So now I am here. So I can learn this and you can start from here. So the audit and assurance is one process. So we have 7 different topics. So then if you have understanding about that, you can catch that. But it's all equation difference in the corporate reporting. Consolidation first leg එක විසුනොත් ඊළඟට උතුරු දකුණ මාර්ගය තමයි එන්නේ. But electricity expense double entry කියන්න කිව්වොත් what will cash credit electricity expense debit. එච්චරට console අතිකර වරන් කරන්නේ. Some of the students will really well. They can learn that. Right. So the auditing is kind of an interesting topic. You can get A pass. Some of the people who not participate for the lectures and don't care about the things, from 100 they have 7 marks, 6 marks. Can you imagine that? I have that photos as well. And you imagine from 107 marks to be right. Why they are spending time, putting money to sell the best, the donation, right? Don't do that. Learn it. Mistake like the matter. Watch it and mark. understanding the theory. I'm not checking grammar. I'm not checking, the proper writing. I want to see that the knowledge on it. So that if you can put in, can summarize that into a kind of a paper, that's it. You can do that easily and try to learn this subject, right? So this is a basic process. Assess the risk, plan and procedures, and conduct the procedures, assess the results, express an opinion. So that's the whole process we are discussing each and every day, right? Assess the risk, that's the risk we discussed already. And plan the process. Accordingly, we are planning on procedures. Audit procedures basically can be divided into two elements. What are they? Substandard procedures and TOC, test of controls. Test of controls and substandard procedures. After doing that, so the plan and conduct audit procedures. We have to perform procedures, and then once you are performing procedures, means you are gathering audit evidence. So then you can understand what are the mistakes, what are the misstatements, what are the frauds, and then you have to give your responses. And according to the results, you can evaluate what's the opinion you are going to issue. Accordingly, you are issuing the report. That is the whole process behind. The process එක ඔළුවට දාගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා so you can decide. Then easily you can do that. Right. So here we have the final outcome of our audit. That's what it's opinion. So I hope that you are familiar with this opinion. So the elements of our audit opinion. You can go through annual report. You can go through audit opinion. So these elements are there. Previously we had auditing standards, so the format of audit opinion, the audit opinion at the latter part of the audit report. The last sentence is the audit opinion. So because with this new auditing standard, revised auditing standard, the audit opinion para came top of the report, came to the top, right? Because it's the heart of the audit report, audit opinion. So audit opinion para is the first paragraph. Okay? And then basis for opinion. Basis for opinion. Then key audit matters. Key audit matters. CAP. That's very important. Matters. Matters. It's not issues. It's not findings, right? Matters may be positive or negative, right? Matters, look at it negative again. Matters. That is not the correct understanding. Matters may be positive or negative. Key audit matters. Those are not actually issues. Those are the key areas of the audit. So how much of time we spend. So what are the significant areas, significant judgments, kind of unusual transactions during a period. Likewise, we have to do kind of a summary about key audit matters in audit opinion. Basically for a listed company. And other information. Other information. So this will be discussed in the final lectures for the conclusion stage. So before we are starting, we should have a basic understanding of the final outcome. So we plan කරලා cute කරලා කරගෙන යන්න කම් මේක දෙකම දුන්නොත් අවුල් නේද? Outcome එකේ realistic දෙයක් දැකලා තමයි අපි කරගෙන යන්නේ. So that's why I have to give kind of a brief understanding about the final outcome first. So then you can plan over this. So then we are planning and executing audit to issue this. So then you should know what we are going to issue. So this is the content basically, right? Other information is what? Other information. Then you are issuing your audit report, you are issuing with a set of other information, right? Audit report, audited financial is the kind of part of a annual report. Annual report may consist with different elements, different chapters, right? Director statement, financial statement analysis, corporate governance section, and the history of the company, CSR section. Different sections are included in the annual report. Right? So the final part may be the audited financial statement plus audit report. So audit report covers the financial statement, right? So they are issuing audit opinion for financial statements. So then other information. On top of that, there may be some other information. So as a bulk, as a bundle, we are issuing annual reports. So as auditor, are we having any responsibility over other information? What do you think? මොකක්ද auditor කරන්නේ? So then audit report, and after that we have balance sheet, cash flow, statement of financial position, changes in equity, so the notes. So then we are issuing audit report for that. But as a bundle, we have some other information on top of the financial. So this information should align with financial statement, right? So we have to read that. Otherwise, we have to mention kind of a scope limitation in the audit report. We have to keep that consistency. Otherwise, the stakeholders may be misleaded. Why? So then in the director statement, they are telling that so we earn more than 40% margin, right? After calculating your margin from the P&L, the state income statement, it says 15%. But two different answers. There's an inconsistency, material inconsistency. To eradicate that, to minimize that, what you have to do as auditor, you have to read other information before we are issuing the opinion, right? For other information, we are not giving assurance, but it's a responsibility to auditor. If not, we have to mention that if there's a serious deviation, we have to give kind of a emphasis in the opinion. Other matter paragraph in the opinion. You can see that. So as auditor, what you have to do, you have to not audit, you have to read other information to keep the consistency. So then you have a separate paragraph in the audit opinion about what? Other information. You can really read through these paragraphs. So then you can understand what is the scope and the responsibility. So we'll go through what report. And then the management responsibility, auditor's responsibility, right? And then the legal, other legal and regulatory requirements. Engagement partners details, partners location as well as contact, location as well as the membership number should be there. And then the signature. So this is the content of audit report. Right? And reports on legal and other regulatory requirements. Yes. The audit is a requirement from other league. It's a legal requirement, annual audit, right? And the basic audit report may be consistent with different audit opinions. In audit, one audit report, there may be different audit opinions. So then we have a regulatory section as well. For regulations, you should be separate field. In normal audit opinion, we have two different normal audit report, we have different opinions. In a one audit report, there may be 2-3 different opinions. For the regulatory purpose one, for other purpose one, if we can add to one sheet, one report, we can add all those things. All right. Once you are going through audit report, you can see this element. That report may be done qualified, unqualified, adverse, or external basis. What is that? Audit opinion can be issued likewise. Audit opinion. Opinion. Audit opinion can be clean opinion, modified opinion, clean opinion. Modified opinion, impact. Impact to the opinion. Impact to the opinion, no impact to the opinion. Impact to the opinion, no impact to the opinion. Impact to the opinion means there may be impact to the opinion. There's a modification, no impact to the opinion. Modification, no impact to the opinion. Maybe emphasize the matter. Other matter. Emphasize the matter paragraph or other matter paragraph. We can issue emphasize the matter paragraph or other matter paragraph. No impact to the audit opinion. Audit opinion, true and fair view, but they are emphasizing something. They are giving other matter. Right? Impact to the audit opinion. Impact to the audit opinion. So audit opinion may be impacted. It may be a qualified opinion, it may be adverse opinion, it may be a disclaimer opinion. So in auditing standard, we have this kind of a chart. In SLA US, SLA US 705. So we have this kind of a chart. This is about this is really important, right? Statement and scope limitation. Statement and scope limitation. Once you are doing audit procedures, so that's auditor, we have a risk, right? We have a risk. To address that, we have to do audit procedures. Once you are doing audit procedures, we are collecting audit evidences. Once you are collecting audit evidence, you can identify kind of challenges. What are those challenges? That can be a misstatement or scope limitation. වැරදි තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වැරදි කැටගරි දෙකකට බෙදන්න පුළුවන්. Misstatements තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. then scope limitation තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Misstatements may be fraud or mistakes. Fraud or mistakes. So I'm here discussing much. The concept we are discussing in the last lecture. Don't confuse, right? So we are coming to here after doing every audit step and all. But before that, I want to explain this as a kind of understanding. If it is complex, don't think too much. Right? Can step by step you can come to this level. This is the level we are issuing audit opinion. Evaluating audit opinion, right? After doing audit procedures, after evaluating the results, only you can decide this. So your misstatement, if it is significant, material, here material plus pervasive. Pervasive. Material plus pervasive. Your misstatement may be material. If it is so, you are qualified. Only material. Material plus pervasive. You are issuing adverse opinion. Your misstatement, scope limitation, material. You are issuing qualified opinion. Your scope limitation, material plus pervasive. You are issuing disclaim opinion. Disclaim opinion. Scope limitation is what? Statement is what? Can you give an example and think about that? What can you do that? Scope limitation. Audit කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Scope limitation. They are not giving evidence. We don't know what is that. They are not. So they have purchased a land. They are not giving that this agreement and then the deal. We can't verify that. Is that scope limitation? We don't know. Is that a real transaction or not? Is a scope limitation. So they misstatement. They are giving, according to our understanding, according to the standard, it is wrong. They have misstated, right? So then that may be a fraud or mistake. according to the standard, according to the practice, according to the industry practice, according to the legal background, this may be a misstatement. That misstatement may be material to an area only. Material to an area. So it's relevant to the inventory only. It's a matter of inventory valuation. So then it's relevant to the inventory only. It's a material, but it's not for the inventory, right? You can issue a qualified opinion. Qualified opinion means except opinion. So the is true and fair we are issuing a true and fair view except for the inventory valuation assertion, inventory balance, right? So that impact only for one area, material for one area. So material plus permissive. It's material, permissive, it's impact to all the balances in the balance sheet, majority of the balances in the balance sheet. So if it is so, you are issuing adverse opinion. Adverse opinion is what? You are directly telling that these financial statements are incorrect. Incorrect in the sense, so you are giving it, you are not issuing a certificate. If remember that, you are telling that in our view, this is not compliant with SLFRS and LDS. In our view, in our opinion, right? You are not telling that directly this is incorrect. This is a certificate, right? But in our view, in our opinion, these financial statements are not complying with the financial reporting framework. So, many of the statements are there in different areas. So the here scope limitation. So you are verifying, you are going to verify, inventory. Inventory DNA. So then area I can entrance land. So then the high temperature or low temperature. So whatever the material they have stored in that area, we don't have access. Right? It's a material balance. It's a material component in this balance sheet. And then we don't have any evidence to do alternative procedures actually. So then as auditor, we have a scope limitation to verify this. Whether it's correct or not. So it's a qualification. We can say that we have a true and fair view about the balances except for the inventory balance because we don't have access to this. It's a qualification. And we have such kind of qualification, the scope limitation for different areas, many areas. You don't have the invoices for sales, so the vouchers for additions, and then the depreciation calculation, salary expenses related to details, the deeds for the lands, everything you don't have. So then can you do audit? Can we put a qualification? In a qualification, except for the revenue, except for the expenses, except for the PP&E, except for the receivable, except for everything, right? So then we are issuing disclaimer opinion. Disclaimer means we are telling that we are not in a position to issue a written opinion. That is a disclaimer. We are not telling true, fair, true or incorrect, right? We are telling a disclaimer to show opinion because of these limitations. There is a material and pervasive scope limitation. So then, ultimately, your audit opinion, you are planning to issue this kind of a result. Before you are planning your audit process, you should know the final outcome. ඔයා ළමයි හදන්න කලින් දැනගන්න ඕනේ මොකද්ද? ළමයි හදුව වෙන outcome. ඒක ප්‍රකාශන එක දැනගෙන තමයි process එක start කරන්නේ. එනවා audit report එක දන්නේ නැතුව you can't start your audit. You can't plan your audit. Now you know what's the content, what's the responsibility, what you have to do. So then slowly start with the audit engagement. Right? Right. You want to, can you send that link please to my WhatsApp group? So people who are joining remotely, so if you can put your link, meeting link, I can share one audit opinion and I can go through that with you all better.
So I have shared to the group.
Right. Well, have you sent that to the group? Well, I not received. No. Whether I am in that group? I don't think that's great.
Yes, sir.
And go to stock exchange, right? Whatever the annual report, you can get that in. They audit report is by myself. So you can see these are the other information, right? In annual report, we have different chapters. Here we have the statement, management discussion and analysis. This is one part, and then that consisted with institutional capital, and then what are the human capital they have, social and relationship capital, likewise, and then the sustainability, different topics, investor relations, then stewardship, right? Different sections. Reports. This is the kind of a final, not the final section. Financial reports are at the latter part of the report. Right? End of the report, we can see financial statement. Here we have financial calendar and director responsibilities, and then we have independent auditors report. Right? Independent auditors report. So this is the outcome we are expecting to issue. This is what we discussed, right? I'm going to open කරයි. දැන් දාන්න. පොඩි මේ කික් එකක් තියෙනවා මේක දැම්මම. මේ පාර්ට්නර් ගේ නම මේ පොඩක් නම් දෙනවා සතුටු වෙන්නේ නේද? HLKC කියන්නේ මගේ ඉනිෂියල්. 2020 තමයි ඉන්ටර්නල් ඔඩිට්. ඔඩිට් රිපෝට් එකේ ඉතින් අකුරක් නැහැ දාන්න. Then you are learning audit and assurance from auditor, right? ඒක නිසා ගැරන්ට් කරන්න and practically ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. Not just a lecturer. So then I have that once you are issuing this report, you have to ensure that this comma should be there. Each and every comma, letter, everything should be perfect. Right? The company, this T should be simple. That level, we are focusing about the quality, right? So then likewise, you can go through this. Like I said, we have, firstly we have opinion. You can see. First para is the opinion. What's the opinion? Here we have that opinion. You can read that. In our opinion, the company financial statement. Financial statement of company and the group. Your true and fair view of financial position of the company and group as of 31st March 2020 and their financial performance and cash flows for the year then entered in accordance with Sri Lankan accounting standards. For the Sri Lankan accounting standards, giving a true and fair view. That's the opinion. That's a core area of this report. Other than that, other information are supporting information. Right? So then basis for opinion. So this is the basic. You can read that. And then key audit matters. Key audit matters, you can see as a chart here. In here, key audit matter is the valuation of biological assets. Fair valuation of bare biological assets. Bare biological assets, right? Biological assets. Case 41. Biological assets can be divided into what? Biological asset, the living animal or plant. Biological asset. Living animal or plant. So that can be bare biological asset or consumable biological asset. Bare biological asset or consumable biological asset. මේකේ ගැන්නුව ටික වෙන පැත්තකට යනවා නේ. ටික ගාලා කියන්නකෝ. Just can't see them. People can't see. So I'll explain. So the bare biological assets can be divided into two. Biological asset can be divided into two. Biological, not bare biological asset, right? Plant or animal. Biological asset එකක් නම් plant එකක් හරි animal එකක්. Right? Plant or animal can be identified as a biological asset. That plant can be bare plant or consumable plant. That animal can be bare animal or consumable animal. Plant එකක් animal. Bare plant or consumable plant. අඹ ගහයි කෙසෙල් ගහයි අතර වෙනස නේ. මොකද අඹ ගහයි කෙසෙල් ගහයි අතර වෙනස. අරකේ අඹ හැදෙන්නේ මේකේ කෙසෙල් හැදෙන්නේ. ඒකද වෙනස? හා? අඹ ගහයි කෙසෙල් ගහයි අතර වෙනස. So what's the difference between a mango tree and a banana tree? So I want that difference from a view of a accountant. Accounting perspective. Financial statement is standard perspective. What's the difference between banana tree and a mango tree? Two different accounting treatment, two different classification, two different standard as well. What's the difference again? Short term, long term. Short term, long term, Tama explained, at the point of harvesting, we don't have again a tree. Right? The banana tree with the harvesting process, whole tree may be finished within a short time. But mango tree, for long time, we are getting harvest. For food salad, we can't be standard දෙකකින් කියලා හිතෙනවා. So then, mango tree is a bare plant. We are keeping that asset for long time to get harvest. It's a bare plant. So bare plant we are treating from not LKS 41, LKS 16, bare plant. Right? Very clear. Bare consumable plant. Consumable plant means banana tree. Consumable plant. With the harvest, the lifetime of the asset may be finished. Sugarcane, paddy, and whatever the pineapple, all those things, consumable biological asset, consumable plant. Animals also same. In a pet shop, so you are having breeding purpose, you are having animals, dairy animals, and so we are expecting to have some puppies to sell, right? So then we have parent animal. So this animal we can treat as their animal. In a farm also we have parent birds. So we are keeping that parent birds to get eggs for broiler birds. So in a farm, parent birds may live more than 1 year. Broiler birds, common. Broiler birds in the දවස් 45යි. කේජ් එකේ දවස් 45ට මෙච්චරට ලොකු වෙනවා. දවස් 45යි උඩුවේ ඉන්නේ අවුරුදු දෙකක් ෆ්‍රිජ් එකේ. උඩුවේ ඉන්නවට වඩා ෆ්‍රිජ් එකේ. එතකොට උඩුවේ ඉන්නකොට LKS 41 ෆ්‍රිජ් එකේ ඉන්නකොට LKS 2 ඉන්වෙන්ටරි. එතකොට අවුරුදු දෙකක් LKS 2 දවස් 45 LKS 41. Why accounting මට කිව්ව නමේ ඕන කතා කරද්දී පව සිද්ධ වෙනවා. කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. Financial sense. So we have to audit this as well, right? We have to audit. So the biological asset auditing is the complex area. It's a complex auditing, advanced auditing, right? So that we can, daily growing, how we can assess as the report, it is what's the status. Very difficult. So all the birds should be in the balance sheet. කුරුල්ලෝ වගේ ඇදලා තියන්නද? බෑ. balance sheet එකේ එහෙම දින්න බෑ නේ. අම්බ ගස්සා දින්නද? බෑ. balance sheet එකේ බෑ. value එක we have to disclose under non-current asset. So we have to adhere with the disclosure. So we'll discuss that later. So if you have a chance to teach you all the corporate reporting standards, I will teach you all these things in a different sense. So here I'm discussing auditing, right? So then for Vairaha, the biological, where a biological asset? Where a biological asset? Valuation of where a biological asset? Where a biological asset? Where the animal here? Where animal we have to follow LKS 41. If it is only where a plant, only we use LKS 16. Where a plant, right? Where animal we are using LKS 41. According to LKS 41, we have to use fair value less cost to sell. We have to do the fair valuation of variables. Fair valuation of variables. The bird can get fair valuation. So we have to do cash flow forecast to the bird. The cash flow model, right? So then hatchability into mortality into hatchability, mortality into chick price. The cash inflow. Then the bird can egg කරන pattern එකක් තියෙනවා. So then we have to estimate that. The estimation pattern is the estimate. So then normally bird may be parent bird, right? Parent bird lifespan may be more than 64 weeks. 64 weeks, right? If parent bird are, kind of a age to grow. So then first day onwards for like 24 weeks, it's not laying eggs, right? From 24th week onwards, it's starting to lay eggs. So then there's a pattern. Peak season එකක් තියෙනවා. Season peak එක අඩු වෙන season එකක්. Peak එක අඩු වෙගෙන ගිහින් අන්තිමට මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? ඒක තමයි bird තමයි හරි chicken කියලා කියනවා. හරි chicken කියන්නේ අන්තිමටම residual value එක bird කෙනෙක් meat වලට විකුණන එක. So we can say residual value. So it's a cash inflow also. So we have two cash inflows, eggs and then residual value. So these are cash inflows, whatever the outflow, food and then vaccination and then other admin charges, maybe cash outflows. So we have to forecast that and present value today by using yield of the firm, yield of the farm, right? That value should be disclosed. It's a model, it's a complex calculation. We use more time. That's a matter of highlighting the audit opinion. That's why we are using that as a key audit method, audit, right? I hope that you have kind of a basic understanding. So I explain these things why? So because your batch is kind of a the senior batch. Otherwise, if you have kids here, පොඩි ළමයි සමහර batch වල. ඒකට කියන්නේ බය වෙලා audit එපා වෙලා යන මේක කියනවා. Then I hope you have that experience, right? And then, as I said, other information included 2020 annual report. So we have a separate para for other information, right? So that talks about our responsibility about other information. It clearly says we are not responsible for that, but we are reading that. So here, other information consists of information included in the annual report. Other than the financial statement and our audit report, management is responsible for the other information. Right? Our opinion on the financial statement does not cover other information, and we do not express any form of assurance conclusion there. So we are not issuing any assurance about other information. So that's our responsibility. Again, we are saying in connection with our audit of financial statement, our responsibility is to read and other information, and in doing so, consider whether other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements. Right? Or our knowledge obtained in the audit or otherwise appears to materially misstated. So that's really important, right? Financial statement, so our knowledge obtained in the audit. Not only financial numbers, right? So as I said previously, what I took as example, gross profit margin. You saw that in the financial statement, initial director statement, it says gross profit margin this much. P&L says this much. Inconsistency. That's a financial number, but you have to expand this to your understanding as well. Right? So then, what's your understanding? According to the understanding we have, so they are going to have kind of a IPO in the future, initial public offering. So here, listed company is a private listed private company. So they are going to do IPO. So then, in the direct statement, they are telling that we have not decided to do any, the share expansion near future within another 5 years. Likewise, the director says that. But you understanding that once you are going through the board minutes and all, there's a clear plan to IPO. So your understanding should be corrected. Right? So then you can challenge. What you are telling here is inconsistent with our understanding. Understanding plus the number of numbers and disclosures in the financial statement, right? Keep remember that. So all together, main purpose is what? The PO quality information should be transmitted, should be communicated to stakeholders, right? Then again says, based on the work we have performed, we confirm that there's a material misstatement of this weather information. We are required to report that fact. We have nothing to report in this regard. Like a kind of a comment. We have nothing to report in this regard. So we have gone through the other information, nothing to report in this regard. So this information, this para should be there on your audit report. Other information para, right? And then the auditor's responsibility, and then here we have that report on the legal and regulatory requirement. So in one report, we have two different audit opinions. What it says, required section this and that, we have obtained all information and explanation that were required for the audit and this and that. County reports have been kept by the company. Here we have kind of another opinion. According to the company at this section, all the records have been kept in the organization. Another required opinion. In this opinion, we have two different opinions. In the top, we have common opinion. Here we have regulatory opinion. Right? So here we have the partner's details, signature, and the date and the office. So this is the basic concept of a basic content of a audit opinion. So we are in a process to issue this. We are planning, execution, and do the conclusion for issue this report. Right? Have that understanding. Do you need any break? Break bottle. Break bottle. Break take a break and count. So we have 10:50. Sorry, 11. We'll start 11. So people who are joining virtually, so you can take a break and count around 11. So we'll discuss the rest of the part So hope you participated, right? We discuss about the content of audit reports. So we are familiar with that. So we are now going forward the overall audit process. And before starting at every step, you can see what are the limitations of audit. Yes. Once you are doing audit, what are the difficulties you are facing here? Because of that, we can't issue a certificate, absolute opinion. Auditing is not an objective judgments have to be made. Not all items in the FS are tested. Audit report has inherent limitations and limitation in accounting control systems. Audit evidence sometimes indicates what is possible, probable, not certain. Audit report is issued a long time after the period end. Because of that, we are issuing kind of assurance reports, not a certificate, the absolute opinion. These are the reasons we are issuing a assurance report, right? Issuing a kind of a less assurance or high level assurance, not a certificate. Auditing is not an objective, judgments have to be made. So then here we should have a command here. Auditing is not objective. Judgments should have to be made. So the auditing we can every time we can't do that kind of factual basis. We can't verify, the as it is. We have to make judgments, right? So right or wrong answers. So then we have white, gray, black and white and gray. So we have to make the answer gray, right? So likewise, you have to make critical judgments. Critical judgments, right? So once you make critical judgments, we don't have objective evidence. We don't have the factual evidence. So at that moment, management also has that kind of a judgment. Oh, their estimates, their provision, they have that kind of estimate, critical judgment. So at that point, we have to evaluate the reasonability of the judgment. So then, on the other hand, we may have some arguments over that. We have to evaluate the probability. Based on that, we have to make the. If it is so, we can't give a certificate on that. That kind of a 100 meter race up here. So the first place, second place, we can get easily, right? With the technology, we can measure sharply. So then there's no doubt about that. So if there's a doubt, the judgment will fall. Or judgment up here now, here. Again, judgment in the first place, or there's no judgment. The factual. So then some conclusion in financial statement, we can't get an exact answer. 50-50, 50-60. So then, end of the report in there, we have to conclude that. We are concluding based on the judgment. In another judgment, in another person, there may be a separate answer. Right? So then, if it is so, we can't issue a certificate. You can understand what it is, right? So then, if there's a question like, as a statutory auditor, you can't issue a certificate. What are the reasons? These are the reasons. You can develop some other facts as well. So these are the things came to my mind as auditor. So these are practical things, right? I included here. So you can read through, you can understand, so then you can interpret this. You can elaborate this to a case study. Limitation in accounting and control systems. Yes, there may be limitations. So then the outcome from this system, we are auditing. So then, as auditor, sometimes we are missing some areas, complex areas, right? So if this, so we can't issue a certificate over that. As auditor, we also will be audited by some other parties, monitoring board, right? So we have regulation. So then we are lucky. So the campus under this institute, Garden Institute, right? And it's a governing body about financial and auditing financial sector, doing auditing standard, doing financial reporting standards. So then we have to adhere with these standards. And then monitoring board looking at us. Monitoring board. So whatever the specific business entities. So in LASNB website, you have that criteria. To be a specific business entity, we have criteria. If you are complying with that, you have to submit financial statement to monitoring board. So then they will overview the financial reporting framework as well as the auditing process. What the responsibility? Have they done, as auditor, have we done the correct job, independent job? So they are evaluating that. So they are asking for reviews, right? Independent reviews. So it's a kind of a difficult experience. Going after completing audit. So we will be audited by another party. We will be checked by another party. We have done it. Have you documented it properly? So whatever the things we concluded, we planned, executed, and concluded, we have properly documented. Not documented, not done. Right? So documentation should be there to show them. We can't say that we are chartered accountant. According to our judgment, we have signed this audit report. We don't have any evidence over that. You can't say that. Should keep evidence. Doctor කෙනෙකුට evidence තියාගන්න. ලෙඩා මැරුණොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? ලෙඩා නඩු කියන්න ගන්නවා නේ. ඒකට කියන්න ඕන මෙන්න මේ reason එක නිසා තමයි මේ operation එක කරේ. So these are the results. So these are the results we took from the testing. Because of that, we have given this drug. Right? So then only you can justify yourself. So documentation is the key aspect in audit process. It's a part of the quality. You can't, you can't sacrifice your documentation for the efficiency of audit. But it means to achieve the deadline, you can't say that I had a tight deadline. Because of that, I didn't do the proper documentation. But I got the so you have to do proper documentation. Otherwise, definitely you will be penalized at the regulator perspective. Within a country board file review sir, it's the kind of a difficult conversation, difficult discussion, difficult review, because they are very competent. They are reviewing, they are challenging. So then management has done a judgment, we have ensured that. So then monitoring board people are in a different angle, different judgment. So we have to ensure that. So then we have to say that your judgment also correct, but management judgment is this. So we had this evidence for this. That's why we concluded this way. So we have to emphasize that and we have to convey that message to that board. Then only we can satisfy them. That ladies staff reporting. File review what ladies expert, technical experts. But independently review can file like a audit financial statement go through and analyze anything. I can make a person. Home the maker, home make a payment, make a payment. The idea so actually that's a good process actually. I like to face that. So then only you can improve. You can say, you can ensure that quality. So You know that once you are planning the audit, so this will be called for monitoring point review. So then we have to ensure that quality. If we have a kind of a, such kind of a thing, we can't the penalize, we can reduce the quality of document. We should have. Right? Monitoring board, සමහර කට්ටිය යන්නේ බයයි. සමහර කට්ටිය ලෙඩ වෙනවා. monitoring board review එක දෙනවනම් managers ලා දවස් දෙකකට කලින් ලෙඩ වෙලා depression හැදෙනවා. monitoring board review. ඊට වඩා අමාරුයි global audit policy review එක. Global audit policy review. Global audit policy review. AQR. So then, let's say we are having big four firms here. So we have kind of a franchise. So this is part of a branch of that firm, right? So the Ernst & Young headquarters are in other countries, UK, right? And then KPMG also same, PwC, Deloitte same. So then they have a global audit methodology, depending on global auditing standard, right? So then what they are doing is they want to see that quality and that quality delivered to all over the countries, right? They have to ensure that because they are brand, EY is their brand, right? They have to ensure that quality. To do that, so they are doing keep on testing, keep on evaluations, right? So then we have to comply with auditing standard as well as the methodology. So the methodology auditing standard they got the auditing standard is the basis. Methodology is the more detailed version of that. Auditing standard says you have to do this way. Methodology says you have to write, you have to turn right, turn left, and you have to select this sample, you have to select this maturity level, and detailed steps are there. So what you should do, what are the tools you have to select, what is the sample you have to do, what's the method you have to follow. Right? How you are going to do sampling? Everything was included in the methodology. So if you have a global review, you have to comply with that global standards as well as auditing standards, accounting standards, and local regulatory aspects as well, tax regulations as well. Right? Global review එකක් තියෙනකොට දවස් දෙකකට කලින් managers ලෙඩ වෙනවා නම් මාසයකට කලින් managers සේරම ලෙඩ වෙනවා. එච්චරම අමාරු. එකපාරක් මමත් හොඳටම advices ගන්න manager. That time I was an assistant manager. Yeah, speak තියෙනවනම් review එක. එයා වැඩ කරලා එනසුරාද මල්ලි හෙටත් ඔය එනවනේ 10 ගියාමයි ආයෙත් ආවේ නැහැ. ගියාම තමයි ආයෙත් ඇකේ. ඒතර ડિප්‍රෙෂන්. එයා එහෙම ගිහිල්ලා බෑ සර්ට් එකක් නැතුව ඇවිදගෙන ගිහිල්ලා මේ එයාලගේ අම්මලා එක්කගෙන. එහෙම ගිහින් එතනද ඩිප්‍රෙෂන් ආයි මාස 6ක් ලැබ් එකක් නැහැ මුකුත් නැහැ. අපි කතා කරේ ලොකුම චැලෙන්ජ් එක මේ ලැබ් එකේ තිබුණු සේරම ප්‍රොබ්ලම් කොහොමද රිවිව් එක ගන්න එක. ඉතින් අමාරු ජොබ් එක. ඉතින් චැලෙන්ජ්. හිතන්න දෙන්න මම එක්සැම්පල් එක කිව්වේ. එහෙම එයා හැම කොපිරේටර් වැඩ කරනවා. ආයි ටිකක් වුණා. ඒක stressful. That much stressful. Then another stress to going monitoring board. So we have that kind of review. So we can't change numbers. We have already done the audit, right? So we have archived everything. So once you are again analyzing, you can see some the loopholes. You can't change that file. You can justify whatever the things you have done. You can't justify that. The auditing loophole. Once you are keeping your documentation, but before you are completing your audit file, you have to keep remember that. So that quality should be there before you are applying your audit. So that file should be comply with available standards, accounting standards, even guidelines, as well as the government. So then keep remember that auditors also will be audited by other parties. That's why we have a framework. That's why we have kind of ethics around us. I mean, doctors audit panel that naduline. Doctors like a quite a hurry there. Teachers audit panel what process there. Now when එමය හරියට ඉගෙනගන්නවද කියලා ඔඩිට් වෙනවා. ඒ සාම්පල් එකක් අරගෙන ළමයින්ට හරියට ඉගෙනගන්නවද කියලා. So we have to do that. Quality audit standards should be there. At least if you have a good lecturer, you should have at least minimum A plus 5 passes. Another 10 A passes. So then less than C this much. So that's an evaluation, right? So that's a KPI should be given to lecturers. So that standards should be there. If you have standards, then we can audit whether they have achieved that standard or not. I don't think that they have that standard. Government hospital, එහෙම check වෙනවද? හරියට patient ලා බැලුවොත් delay එක කොහොමද? ඒ ස්කෑන් එක කරගන්න patient ඉන්නකොට තව ලෙඩකුත් ඇතිලා ඒ ලෙඩේ patient දැල්ලත් ඉවරයි නේද ස්කෑන් එක කරලා. ඒ වගේ සිටුේෂන් එකක් නේද? therapy standard audit කරන්න ඕනේ factual defects are there. Right? So if we have a proper process, there should be a regulator, and that aspect should be audited by third party. Because so that sector will be a kind of a secured sector, we can get a quality outcome. So that's why I say auditing field is a kind of a field we have that trust from the public. We have public trust. So then policy for the public trust එක නැති කරගෙන තියෙනවා නේ. Policy and then forces public trust එක තියෙනවා නේ. දැක්කම මාර පිට එකක් එනවා නේ. මාර discipline එකක් තියෙනවා. So that they have a public trust. Now police කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවනම් army කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවනම් දෙන්නකින් කාගේ දාන්නේ. but army කෙනෙක් එකම අතුටක් එනවානේ. යම්මක් තියෙනවා. අන්න හමුදාවෙක් ඉන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒ trust එක police නැති කරගෙන. Yes. So likewise, auditors also having a public trust. Auditors are වැරදි කරලා තියෙනවා. So you know that before this we had big five. What is that for? Arthur Anderson. So because of Enron case study, Enron scandal, so the Arthur Anderson audit firm was closed. Right. So that's a huge fraud done by the management of Enron with the support of auditors. Because of that, the global license was cancelled to them. Right? That's a good, the example and guidance to others. So then it means auditors also doing bad things. So sometimes they are working their self-interest, but the regulations and the guidelines around them to reduce that. Keep remember that. So then as an auditor, we have to comply with these two areas. Right? So you can refer auditing standards by using this link. Slack.lk. What is it? So then please refer the updated revised standard, right? If you remember that. So you can refer the auditing standard book as well as the website for your further reference. right? Sri Lankan Accounting Assurance Standard Board. Sri Lankan auditing published by Sri Lankan Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, IASB. Sri Lankan Accounting Standard Board, know that, right? So we have LKS and we have IAS and LKS and SLFRS. No. So then nowadays we are getting SLFRS. So the previously we had LKS. Then LKS stopped with LKS 41. After that we don't have LKS 42, 43, right? We don't have. So now we are getting SLFRS 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have ended with what? Here the answer there. 16 වලින් නැවතලා දෙනවා 17 එන්න තියෙනවා 17 එන්න තියෙනවා 17 එනවා කියනවා එන්න තාම පොඩි ලෝකෙට ඇවිල්ලා අපිට ඇවිල්ලා 23 වල ආවා ගන්න මේකේ එතන ඉන්ක්ලූඩ් දෙයක් අපිට නැති නිසා අපි 25 ගම ගන්න. ඉතින් ගණිත දන්නේ නැහැ. නේද? ලෝකෙට ඇවිල්ලා අපිට ගන්න අපි ඉතින් ඒක ඔබත් නෑ 17 මොනවද ගන්න ඒක ඉගෙන ගන්න මාන ලස්සනයි ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් insurance is a kind of a complex area. Auditing, accounting, too complex. Sometimes it's complex than a bank insurance audit. එහෙම කිව්වොත් මම purely insurance auditor කෙනෙක් කියලා හරි. ඒක මම ගැන explain කරගන්නවා කියලා හිතන්න එපා. මම ගොඩාක් කරලා තියෙන insurance audit. I am audit expert in auditing insurance company. So I was in insurance sector audit management. So then I have done many insurance audits. Biological asset plus insurance audit. Not a banking expert, a finance company expert. I have done those things. Small engagement and all. Insurance expert. Currently, audit management and insurance sector. So then insurance, top to bottom, live to general. I know head and tail of insurance business as well as audit. The complex area. Complex. The complexity says so that we can't adopt the standard in the global context. Globally also deferred that adoption. Long time. From 2014 onwards, they are trying to adopt this. They couldn't do that because of the repercussions and complexity. So you all can see that complexity once you are reading the income statement in the insurance company. What another income statement revenue, cost of sale, and then net profit and admin expense, other expenses, other income, net profit, profit before tax. So you all have very minimal words you can see in the income statement of the insurance company. We have gross profit, GWP, gross written premium, and then you are deducting reinsurance and net written premium. You are going to deduct unearned premium. You are getting net earned premium, right? And then you are going to deduct that car. Everything you have to different terminologies. Not car, that deferred acquisition cost. Car means capital adequacy ratio in the solvency, right? So likewise, have different calculations under insurance. So then you have to audit that as well. That process that should be audited. So for that we have separate insurance regulations. So the Insurance Act is there. Insurance regulatory body is there. They are looking at financials. So under insurance company, under regulatory para, we have two opinions: Company Act opinion as well as the opinion for Insurance Act. So we have two different opinions under regulatory para. So those are the things you need to consider. So once you are getting knowledge about auditing, right? So then I was discussing about what? Standards. So the LKs and IFRS. SLAs. So what's the difference? LKs and SLFRS. LKs, SLFRS. IAS and IFRS. They cast the standard. LKs කියලා මති කරන්න. හරිද? LKs 41, 42, 43, 44. 41 වල ඉන්නවා. ආයිත් LKs එකද නැහැ. So in LKs finished. Now we have IFRS, SLFRS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 17, 18, 19 But it is like counting the degree. අපි cover it. SLFRS LKs කියලා දෙකක් තව තියෙනවා නේද? IFRIC, SIC and so තමයි. ගොඩාක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. ඒක මොනවද කියලා දැනගන්න ඕනේ. At least words. So then we are dividing so LKs and SLFRS. So based on the body they have issued. So the previously we had financial accounting standard committee. So the committee changed to board. That change we have IFRS. Committee time we had LKS and IA. So the committee issued LKS and IA. So with that change, committee changed to board, they are issuing SLFRS, IFRS. So that's a change. So the governing body, governing the point change. With that change, the terminology, the name was changed. The series was changed. With that change, committee change. Right? So then onwards we have IFRS and SLFRS. So that won't be tested in the auditing. The part 1 done. That's about basic auditing process, about the content of audit, the assurance, level of the assurance, and then basic elements of assurance again. Right. Then we can go to here we are discussing different types of assurance reports. Different types of assurance report. Accordingly, we have different auditing standards. Statutory audit report, special purpose audit report of prospective financial information, audit report of review engagement. We have different guidelines. So basically, we are discussing about first statutory audit engagement. So that process will be discussed, and then all the audits, the process may be same. So the purpose and the report structure, so the procedures, there may be some difference, right? The whole content can be easily understood through statutory audit engagement. That's why we are giving high weightage to that engagement. Through that engagement, we are learning all those things. So we are learning special purpose audit report. So like as discussed, governance related audit report, special purpose. If we are doing audit for NGO, so then they are not following financial statement standards. They are using their kind of a article law kind of a procedure. So then we are giving reference to that. So let's say in a finance company, they are having kind of Islamic finance unit. So that Islamic finance units are there. So for Islamic finance unit, they are preparing financials to send that their Sharia board, right? Financial statement. For those financial statements, we can't use, so the prohibited words are there. So they are using specific words. Muda, wakala, and then they can use the interest according to the given guideline. So then ijara. So likewise, we have different terminologies. So we have to prepare a financial statement not for LKS and SLFRS according to the given guidelines from Sharia board to that Islamic unit. Only they have come up with the kind of a guideline, policies. According to that policy, we are issuing the opinion. It's a special purpose of this report. So we can't refer SLFRS and IFRS. If it is so, we have to use effective interest rate. So then fair valuation. So those are prohibited from that regulation. Religious regulation, right? So then we have different scenarios, special purpose audits. So then once you are going through a process of auditing, or if you are auditing, you may have different requirements. So then audit report of prospective financial information. What is that? Basically for prospective financial statement, we are assuming not a high level opinion. We are assuming one low level opinion. Why? Prospective financial information is futuristic numbers, predicted numbers, right? For next 5 years, they have come up with a budget. So then, bank want to have kind of a assurance report over there. Can you do that assurance report? Yes. As auditor, we can do kind of assurance report on that. But the futuristic numbers. So it's very difficult to audit that, right? So the historical numbers, the auditing in historical numbers also difficult. How about the futuristic numbers? So they have done a kind of forecast based on present values. So then we have to audit that. To do such kind of a forecast, they have come up with many assumption and judgment. To doing auditing on assumption and judgment is really difficult. So then issuing audit report for prospective financial statement may be really difficult. Because of that, because of the limitation we have, we are not going to issue high level opinion. COVID එන්න කලින් එහෙම එකක් ඉෂු කරලා දෙන්න නම් COVID ආවට පස්සේ තේරම numbers so we can't predict, we can't issue high level opinion because of the unpredictability in the society, the economy. So we are normally issuing a low level assurance for prospectiveness. Another thing is review engagement. For review engagement, we are issuing a low level opinion. Low level opinion. Negative opinion. Negative opinion means we are not saying this financial statement are giving true and fair value according to the SLFRS and IFRS. Sorry, SLFRS and LKS. What we are saying, nothing has come to our mind to say that these financial statements are not in line with financial. So nothing has come to our mind to say that these financial statements are complying with SLFRS and IFRS. Nothing has come to our mind. Monica, low level opinion එකක් දෙන්න. මගේ යාළුවෙක් අහනවා එයා කොහොමද කියලා. දැන් ඔයාලා engagement එකට කලින් නේද? ඔයාලා බලනවා එයා කොහොමද කියලා අහනවා මට assurance එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා යාළුවගෙන්. කොහොමද assurance එක? එයා නම් නියමයි. නේද? පොතේ පොතේ වැඩ කරනවා නේද? responsible and discipline time එකට එනවා lecture එකේ උනත් උඩ තරම් ඉන්නවා නේද? ඒක කියනවා. නියමයි. ඒක මොකද්ද? certificate level එකෙන් දෙන්නේ නේද යාළුවා? තමයි යාළුවෙන් කියනවා ඔක කියනවා. Nothing has come to our mind. Say that he's bad, right? He's good actually, so he's doing well and he's coming for lectures and he in the village also he's doing well. Nothing has come to my mind to say that he's bad. So it's a kind of a low level assurance, right? High level assurance. Wow, assurance එකක් දෙන්න disclaim කරනවා. මම දන්නේ මට දෙන්නේ assurance එකක්. Disclaim opinion එක. Then කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So then you can issue low level assurance as well. Negative opinion as well, right? As a auditor. එතකොට අර auditing යාළුවෙක් ඉන්නවනම් මේ අහලා බලන්න නේද? එයාගේ report එකක්ම ගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම මිනිස්සු ගැන report දෙන්න නැහැ auditor සමහරවල්. character certificate දෙන්න පුළුවන්. That not requires auditing standards. There's no any auditing standards require character certificates. So we have review engagement, prospective financial statement, summarized financial statement, compilation, agreed upon procedure. We have a separate auditing standard for character certificate. We don't have. Unfortunately, we can't get an audit service because we don't have regulation. Personally, auditor can the sales secretary certificate. Don't have a regulation. In the owner certificate, they can clear the program. But the guideline is up there. Magi protection again use करना वापस ये तो देना. वहाँ मेहनत कर रहा है, मेहनत कर रहा है क्या? We don't have guideline. मैं वहाँ की कहानी auditor के लिए जैसे character certificate का देना ना, monoid opinion का use कराने. Opinion का, ये मत standard का नहीं auditing standard. वाट क्या है मैं एक high level opinion का देना पुलवान में, low level opinion का देना पुलवान में, right? Right. Back to the process. We accepted the client, right? Then second step, what is that? We are going to have a engagement letter. So that's the contract between auditor and the auditee about the scope and the final outcome and deadline and fees and everything. So the condition relating to the engagement, right? Is that important? That what are the benefits of engagement letter? The basic contract, right? So he said that we have engagement letter take up here. Indication. So there's too much advance, no? What's the confidence? After that, go over there. Make it a calling. First, we are a society. An indication of the poor mentality. It depends. You want to have kind of a future plan, go abroad, right? To arrange a kind of a loan or kind of combined loan, that's okay. So the different plan, that's okay. If it is kind of a perspective that if you are waiting till the wedding, so this will be, the finish in between this period. The wedding person got a period there. So there's high probability to divorce. Remote, not be remote. High possible. So we are discussing about three words in accounting. What is that? Remote, probable, and possible. There's a high possibility to. It is a. Statistically, can. Degree holders for a money. Actually, he is my good friend. Actually, he was from my school, my university, and then my firm. So the mutual friends like me more than 750. හැමතැනම යාළුවෝ. එයා මැනි කරනවා ළඟදී. He's not getting a wedding. Getting a kind of a photo shoot on this photo and all. So he's getting a photo shoot, perfect photo shoot. I spending, and he's giving a kind of a party to his close family members. He's taking them to a kind of a restaurant. Giving more than the buffet is serving to them. That's it. He has worked for 3 big 4 firms now. He was an EY, KPMG, Deloitte, now he's in PwC. He knows the GAM 4ම use කරලා government audit methodology 4ටම වැඩ කරලා තියෙනවා. මමට වැඩ කරන්නේ එකට. He knows the entire tail of 4 global audit methodologies of 4 big 4 firms. දැනට රටවල් 5ක වැඩ කරලා. පස්සේ රටේ ලංකාවේ දෙන්නේ. ඉතින් රටේ තමයි. ඒකට හොඳයි නේ. ඒකනේ අනිත් දේ. ෆැමිලි එකේ ඉතින් කට්ටිය විතරයි ඉන්නේ. less than 30. මටත් එන්නම කියන කිව්වා දැන් මට යාළුවෙකුත් නැහැ ගිහින් මම මොකද කරන්න කියලා ඉතින් දෙන්නම යන්නද කියලා. That's all. So, එයා මේ මොකද කියන්නේ? සල්ලි දෙන වෙඩි 10ක් ගන්න නේද? වෙඩි 10ක් ගන්න සල්ලි දෙන. ළඟදී තව යාළුවෙක්ගේ පොඩි ළමයෙක්ගේ heart operation එකක් තිබුණා. මම කටේකින් cash collect කරලා දුන්නා. ලක්ෂ 2.5ක් හම්බුද? ඒ මගේ account එක නැත්නම් ඒ ළමයි account. එච්චරද ඉඳන්. 150 keys කියන්නේ small thing for them. ඒවට මේ නැහැ. කියන්නේ ඕනම වෙලාවක නෙවෙයි. ගොඩාක් travel කරනවා. ගොඩාක් travel කරන එක තමයි. They are searching, enjoying the life. Enjoying so that you have to discover yourself. What do you want? Do it. Do it in a kind of a free manner. Don't depend on others. So after getting the degree, you are responsible. You can think, right? So then, who are telling to you, so whatever the repercussions in the society, so be yourself. Enjoy yourself, right? What degree කරන්නේ හැමදෙර කෙනාට ඕන නිසාවක්. ඉතින් නිසාවක් නෙවෙයි. You are learning for degree, so you are better. And do whatever the things you are interested. So that interest වෙන්නේ මොනවද දැකලාද? Interest වෙන්නේ මොනවද දැකලාද? Surrounding එක දැකලා. Surrounding එක බලලා තමයි decision ගන්න. Right? So once you are looking at your surrounding and the environment, please look at what? Please look at the proper professional, called advanced society, advanced advanced. That's the benefit of a degree. So, society එක බලන්න decide කරන්න මෙහෙම කරන්න ඕනද නේද? ලොකු market එකක් හදලා තියෙනවා. marketing campaign එකට දැන් රැවටෙන්න එපා. ඔයා රැවටුණා ඇති නේද? ඡන්ද campaign එකට රැවටෙනවා, marketing campaign එකට රැවටෙනවා. එහෙම රැවටෙන කෙනෙක් වෙන්න එපා. So the based on the correct output and read yourself. Who are you? What do you want? Decide the correct thing. Now, පොඩි කාලේ වා කිව්ව නේද? එතන ඉන්නේ 80% කියලා I want to be a doctor කියලා නේ. කිව්වනේ. මොකක්ද කිව්වා I want to be a doctor කියලා. Why I have said that? ඒ වෙලාවේ දැකලා තිබුණේ ડોක්ටර් විතරයි. අම්මගෙන් පස්සේ ડોක්ටර් විතරයි දැකලා තිබුණේ. ටීචර්වත් දැකලා තිබුණේ නැහැ නේ. එකපාරට ඉස්කෝලේට ගිහලා ටීචර් අහනවා පාට ડોක්ටර් කවුද වෙන්න ඕන කියලා. ඔයා දැකලා තියෙන්නේ අම්මගෙන් තාත්තගෙන් පස්සේ ડોක්ටර් විතරයි. I want to be a doctor. Teacher කියලාවත් කියන්නේ teacher දකින්නේ තමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ වා ටාගට් හදාගන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා. දැකලා තියෙන දේවල්. එහෙනම් හොඳ දේවල් දකින්න තු FB එකකින් ටාගට් හදාගන්න එපා නේද? ෆොටෝ ෂූට් වලින් room tour වලින් ටාගට් හදාගන්න එපා. room tour එක පිටිපස්සේ තියෙන වෙන tour එකක්. Don't depend on that. Read wisely. Use your knowledge wisely. It depends on the So that's a benefit of a degree. Be yourself. I'm okay with the Kenneth circuit. Take a keyword. If a keyword part of it, okay, one. Professor again, I know that you are aware about him, right? He's a leading instructor for this degree as well as the PhD and the PhD, MBA and the new degree produced by Chapter. So he's one of a leader in education industry in this field. So he was one of the senior lecturer in Yakuda campus. So whatever the campus is, a kind of resource person, right? So I was able to part of his lectures, the circuit happened. Very practical, genuine circuit. And the Hamuna, that 6 months, and a conference with staff lectures, right? So then, yeah, take it, what a career can you experience it. So then that was experience happened to him once he's participating for his PhD, kind of a PhD training or kind of not interview, PhD related workshop. It was happened in UK. So then sir participated. So then audience, you know that audience may be people who are having MBA, right? So he is reading for the PhD. Very expert audience. Main audience is not there. Main audience is advanced audience. So then they were asked to, find a simple activity to grow people with other. ඒ කතාව නැත්නම් මම හිතුවේ ඒ කතාවේ කිව්වේ මේ පාර මුදු වෙරළක් හදෙන්න කියලා. ඒක මාර මැසේජ් එකක් දෙනවා. මුදු වෙරළ හදෙන්නකොට අපි අඳින්නේ මොනවද? ඉන්දියා, පාකිස්තාන්, ශ්‍රී ලංකා, සෙට් එකම සවුත් ඒෂියන් කන්ට්‍රීස් වල කට්ටිය නේද? ඇදලා දෙන්නේ පාට පිටාල තියෙන සේරම ඇදලා. Das තියෙනවා තරු පායනවා හඳ බහිනවා ඔරු පායනවා මාළු වර්ගනවා නේද තේරෙන්නේ නැද්ද තමන් මේ පිටකේ තමන්ට පොළොවෙන් දන්නේ නැහැ තමන් ගැන හිතන්න වෙලාවකුත් නැහැ ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ නැති සීන් එකක් තමන් අපිට ගන්න හැබැයි UK USA කට්ටිය ඇදලා තියෙනවා they have done So then he is one person. Then he's sunbathing in the beach. Only one person in the picture. That's it. Whole picture just in the picture. Myself and wife. Better half in the picture. වාගේ picture එකවත් නෑ parents වත් නෑ කවුරුත් නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ හිතන්න වෙලාවකුත් නෑ අපි පොතේ ටිකක් හොයාගෙන ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ මේ මොනවද කියන්නේ මේ සුපේට සමගය ආසන්න රටවල් කවදාවත් ඩෙවලොප් වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියනවා. ඩෙවලොපින් country. Why? Each and every day, so we can live, right? 24/7 we have time to live, work, right? So time resource, we can't say unlimited, we have time. So we don't have, the problems. But developed countries, they don't have time. They don't have time to, search gossip and do unnecessary things. To be religious more, they don't have time. They have very limited time. In a year, they have only 6 months. They have to do innovations, they have to do the production. They are going to that, they have pressure. That's why they develop. They have develop the innovations and they are working towards the production. But here, ethnic problems, religious problems, religious concept is same. Folk Islam. Meaningful. Folk is a very harmful thing for a body because the height. Buddhist theory done in the Latin, and the Pope around in the Pagger. So it is not under the Pope around. Yakavan again. Ekaman is meaning the Yakataka. Same meaning. Same meaning. What a way. Monohari. Latest Monohari. Whether they are Tarana in the one. Don't bring Pope to your home. Here. Oh, Pope not in the market. Same thing. Don't get confused. All the religions are telling how we can get peacefully. Why we are going to fight? Why we are going to interpret it differently? Same thing will be. Up at time, time will see 2.7. Make a balagin, time waste. Don't do it. We innovate, right? We innovate to do production. You can do kind of a very different outcome. You can get out there. Save your time. That's the core concept. So be wise. So then prepare your engagement letter in a good manner. So all the conditions should be there. Those should be very realistic. So that engagement letter, that picture, you should be there. You should be satisfied. So that's the ultimate expectation, right? So then getting the degree, we have to be able to that. Now what I know the answer. What I am the reason maker. You have the say they can have actual reason. So you are getting the critical decision. So then you have to do kind of evaluation whether you can stay there or you can manage it. So are you are having kids here? Are you are having close family members? So many dependents are there for you. So then decide for you. So sacrificing all those things you are going abroad. So it's a different thing. Why can't we attend a master magic? Demotivate already. Now, we contest in the value of that. Virtual people, I know abroad, right? They are done no experience in it. They are asking in the good at the majority. Asking in it. They are no experience in it. There are especially from our country. So, if demand take up reputed. එහෙම කට්ටක් virtual joint. මොකද ඔයා හිතන ඔයා දන්නවද ඒ කියන්නේ වෙන රටකින් සූත්‍ර නැති රටකින් අන්නවත් නැති රටකින් මිනිස්සේ ඔයාගේ රට දෙනවනේ ඔයා කැමතිද? අන්නවත් නැති තැනක ඉන්න මිනිස්සේ ඔයාගේ ගෙදරට ඇවිල්ලා නවතින්න යනවා. ඔයා කැමතිද? You don't like. So likewise other countries don't interest to issue visa to you. Why? So he's coming from this kind of a country. So then we don't want him. So then he has to show whatever the quality, whatever the qualification, the wealth. So then only you can go abroad. So it means you have to give a service to them. That confidence should be there. Otherwise you can't survive. අපි මෙහි කරන්නේ කොහොමද? අපි මෙහි දවස් 4ක වැඩ sorry එක දවසක වැඩ දවස් 4ක් කරනවා මේ. ඒක නේද? කොහොමද තමයි. එතකොට මාස 12ක වෙන්නේ මොනක් කොච්චර වැඩද? මාස 12කට වෙන්නේ මාස 3ක වෙන්නේ මාස 3ක වැඩ මාස 12ක් කරනවා. ඒක මම personal experience. So I was in Qatar. I did audit Qatar Resident Tower. That tower I audit more than 1,500 rooms with apartments and with different income sources, right? I took only 7 days. 7 days. Audit team consists with only me. Only me. Resident Tower audit. Only for 7 days. 7 days. Planning, execution, and conclusion, everything that is to the report. 1,500 rooms. Here I did the Royal Palm Tangerine, 150 rooms, more than 3 months, including 8 audit members, 8 audit staff, 150 rooms, more than 3 months. Imagine the efficiency. Master, 12ක වැඩ, මාස 3ක වැඩ, මාස 12ක් කරනවා. So it's fair to say developing country, right? We can't give outcome to them. So that inefficiency can't be maintained as a person who are expecting to go abroad. You have to be very efficient. Your quality should be perfect, right? To ensure that go abroad. That's a benefit to the country. Ensure that you can achieve that quality first. Otherwise, you will stuck in the middle. So ensure that quality, go abroad, and then it's a kind of a stability to the country. It's a benefit to the country. Otherwise, don't be a headache. මෙහෙ ටිකට් එක හදලා ගිහින් ආයෙ ගෙන්න ගන්න එකක් දෙන්න. වැඩ කරන්න එපා, right? Plan properly. You all can do that. Come on. So the really for good briefly and you have taken the exemption, you can do that in a proper manner and separate yourself from that. Otherwise, don't waste your ambition, your targets, right? Focus on that, right? So we are about to discuss engagement letter and those things, right? So we accepted the clients. Now we are finalizing the engagement letter. So we discuss about the advance, the importance of the terms and conditions here. And this will be tested in the exam. Importance of engagement letter. So what are the benefits of engagement letter? And then to ensure the quality, what are the benefits from this? To have kind of a proper effective engagement, what are the benefits from my engagement letter? So different words, one request, right? In the question paper, kind of a so then your senior will ask from you. So the last year also we had an engagement letter. And you will continue this engagement letter for this year as well. So this year, so the same audit will continue. We need to have kind of a separate engagement letter. So it's suggested not to have an engagement letter because we had that for last year. So are you agree with that? What are the importance of updated engagement letter. So you should have an ability to explain. So the benefit, what are the four the outcomes of the engagement letter. So the have we mentioned also? Again, this was no, I have not included here this benefit of a engagement. So this is a content. This is a basic content, right? So you have to mention the scope, responsibility. Other than that, we can include. So that is the basic, a component, basic elements of the engagement letter in the draft engagement letter in the auditing stand, right? So what are the benefits of a engagement letter? It's a basic plan, right? It's a basic plan. As auditor, so you can stick in the kind of a scope, right? So the scope is clear. So then you can, once you are going through the audit field, you can cross-check with the engagement letter. If there are any kind of argument, the dispute with the management, you can refer the engagement letter. Other than this, recently we are adding general terms related to the company, right? What are the data privacy conditions and whatever the other, the conditions related to confidentiality, right? From a third party, as auditor, we are dealing with their information, right? We have to save the confidentiality. So these confidentiality clauses, data privacy clauses will be included to the engagement letter. If there's a such kind of a situation, argument, we have to refer the engagement letter, right? If you want to, resign, so in between the audit, before you are giving your output, you can stop this engagement, you can resign, you can, the left from the engagement based on the clauses in the engagement letter. If you have to, we are agreeing for a scope, right? Once you are going to do the audit, they are not accommodating. They are not giving any information. So then, how we can do the audit? So you can resign, you can left from the engagement. So all those things in the engagement letter. So it's a kind of a proper guidance to come up with a proper outcome. So that's another benefit. And you can cross check with the efficiency. Timelines can be mentioned. And then, so the next year also can refer this engagement letter as a guidance, right? So, and then what else? Quality can be evaluated based on the engagement letter. Whether we have done the service according to the required condition, right? So those things are the benefit imports of an engagement letter. So once you are finalizing engagement letter, so the original copy should be with you and one copy with the management, right? So the both parties should sign in the letter. Letter should be signed by both parties, and original copy should be placed in both places. As auditor, you should have one. As auditee, they should have one. Right? So you can go through the. So I try to share that auditing standard. I will share with you all. So the auditing standard 210. 210. 210 in the sense that's about engagement letter. So that's included the draft engagement letter. So you can follow that as well. So the once you're going through that, you can get more detail about the benefit and everything about the engagement letter. So basic stuff is what? Firstly, we have to accept the client, then we have to enter the engagement letter. Right? Okay. Go forward. Again, I have repeated here. So what are the examples for high level assurance engagement, low level assurance engagement? Right? So here I have mentioned again this some of other limitations for assurance engagement. And then they are focusing about audit team members. So then you accept the client, accept the engagement, you are done with the engagement letter. So then what you are going to do? On the grant, we have to select a proper audit team. So then only we can deliver the service. You have to decide the audit team, the adequate resources, experience, qualifications. These are. The audit team is a must. The audit partners and directors na ගහගන්නවනේ audit team එක select කරලා. Audit training ගියා නම් දන්න වන් හොඳ නමක් තිබුණා නම් managers ලා ගහගෙන තියෙනවා නම් ගහගෙන කියන්නේ wrestling නෙවෙයි. ඔයාලෝ audit එකට ගන්න නේද? Fight එකක් තිබුණා නම් you had a good image in the audit firm. Right? So then, as a manager, as a director, who is responsible for audit engagement, we should have a proper team. So what are the aspects? So here, what's the question I can ask? Who are the key audit members? And then, once you are designing audit members, what are the aspects you have to look in? Audit members la. Group work එකක් කරනවා නම් මොනවා වගේ ටීම් එකක් හදවා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ? Committed, experienced, full answer කරන නේද? Contribute කරන ටීම් එකක් කරන expect කරන. Right. ඒ වගේ so once you are designing your audit team, what do you think? So what do you want? Experience, qualification, commitment. So that last year audit එකේ ඉතින් කෙනෙක් දෙන්නෙක් විතර ගන්න ඕනේ නේද? නැත්නම් මුකුත් දන්නේ නැහැ. මොන ඔස්ට්‍රෝන් කියන දවස් ගන්න. එහෙනම් last year audit එකේ කෙනෙක් ඉන්නේ කොහොමද? එහෙම කෙනෙක් ගන්න try කරනවා. මොකද at least extension ටික ගන්න නේද? auditees ලා මෙයා මේ HR department එක කොතනද තියෙන්නේ? හැමදේම ඉන්නවා. So it's better to have a person in the last year audit team. Right? So then before we are designing the audit team, we have to evaluate the independence as well. CFO के standard note audit team वगैरह करना है. So we have to evaluate independence as well. What else? That should be a balanced audit team. Cost effectiveness. What it means to be. So this is a kind of a engagement we have to finish off in a very tight deadline. And the audit bill also very high. Quality service. If it's so, we can have more expert people. But this is a type of engagement, very low cost, and we can't accommodate expert persons, right? So then cost effectiveness. After Buddha, senior managers of the team managers are there. Right? So we have to think about the cost efficiency. Otherwise, audit firms, auditors are not only the charitable institutions, right? We are doing kind of a profitable business, but within the scope of ethics. So then we have to say, we have to have a saving. We have to pay it off the salary. We have to have a profit margin. We have to ensure the quality, and then we have to pay to the audit members. We have to maintain that quality. To have that, we have to have cost effectiveness. Taking some managers to the hands for the government team. So we have to balance it. Yes. Experience and then those things, no? Don't need to know the preferred standards and all, you can easily write. What are the areas and you should focus about? Once you are deciding about it. And then there are no personal commitments matters. Why? There are members for Saturday Lama. Then exactly another. So then we have a mix that chartered future commitments. Audit manager, senior, supervisor, Tundanam, ladies guy. Tundanam pregnant. Tundanam maternity leave. So the family commitments the maternity. So we have to plan all those things. Maternity leave we should have a proper succession. Manager maternity leave we should have a proper supervising audit team. To that period, we have to continue the audit. So then, once you are designing your audit team, focus that as well. What is that? Personal commitments. Standards practically auditing standards matters. And then the futuristic risk about audit. FCID and audit monitoring board and audit. So then we have to have a proper audit team here. And then the technical skills we required, whether is that the virtual office, whether is that a virtual business, or highly the regulated business, or then kind of a valuation type business. The nature of the business is really important. Industry, right? Industry experts are matters. Why? We are doing audit for bank. Should have that capability, right? Should have kind of a IT tools to analyze that. Expert. IT auditors should be there. If they are doing a bank. So likewise, the technical aspect, the complexity of the audit is a matter of considering considering right? So then audit team may be consistent with audit partner and then audit quality reviewer and then managers, supervisors, and then senior staff members, tax expert, IT experts, valuation experts, and then the technical committees, people. Other than this, you can add some other parties as well. Let's say, if you want to, if you are doing kind of audit for petroleum corporation or kind of another, construction industry, you should have an engineer in the audit team. Why? You should measure the stage of completion. You have to evaluate that. You should get support from engineers to understand this. As auditor, you don't know. After completing this applied accounting degree, you don't know about the construction contract, right? You don't know about the biological asset. You should have expert on that. You can add people to here. Then මෙහෙම උගන්වලා මම experience මේව කතා කරලා මම ප්‍රශ්නයක් දෙනවා. Exam making. Who are the team members in this audience? අපේ ළමයි දේර ලස්සනට partner, data quality manager, senior, staff members, client के नाम दिया, client के लिए client के लिए तो what whole audit equation fail, right? Again, after you know, they mark the run is there. So what fail there the lecture video. Audit team में की auditor team, no, sorry, audit team audit team. So they are telling that I am giving case study, So what they are doing is they are picking some names from the case study and putting as a team. So then the managing director of the case study of that particular ABC company is better as audit team member. So the whole equation fails. So the audit team should be independent from the auditor. So how come this the owner of the company is the audit team? Audit zero is the knowledge. Zero again. Zero knowledge. Mukut again again. Paper කරන්නේ කොහොමද? එතන paper බලන එක නවත්තලා තව දවසක් උත්තරලා තමයි paper ගන්න. මාන දුකයි නේ හිතුණා. මෙච්චර කියලා audit team එක independent වෙනවා. So the basic which audit team members කියන එක basic මේක දන්නේ නැත්නම් no need to come for lecture. No need to come for the exam at least. Right? So then make sure to have kind of a proper understanding. So then once you are designing your audit team, those are the things you need to consider. Whatever the area you are selecting a team for a purpose, basic guidelines can be used for here. Trip එකක් යන්න set කරගෙන set එක decide කරනකොට මේක බලන්න පුළුවන්. මම කියන්නේ මේ අම්මලා trip එකක් ගන්න යනකොට parents ලා යනකොට මොකද audit එකේ partner කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවනේ කියලා. එහෙම නෙවෙයි මම කියන්නේ. Trip එකට යන එන කට්ටිය නේද? ඒක ඒ පැත්තේ ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන කට්ටියනේ. ඒක set කරගන්නේ මොකද team එක. Right. Overall responsibility of audit depends on the engagement part. Overall responsibility with the engagement part. Here we have another partner, right? Engagement quality review. Normally in a complex audit, we have audit partner, engagement quality review is another part. But we have that kind of a process. Because engagement partners are very expert person, right? So the audit partner is the responsible person. We have another partner, quality reviewer. He's doing kind of a second level review. So as a partner, I can come up with the the assumption and judgment, and we can conclude that. Right? So as a third party, so another partner looking at it in a fresh angle. So he's having kind of a set of different arguments, right? The different part, different expert. So the way he's interpreting things may be different. So the most accurate things come from this partner, this angle. So it's a kind of a very, the friendly, not friendly actually, it's a kind of a very complex discussion with the engagement partner and quality review. So then engagement partner giving a kind of a conclusion, so the quality reviewer should accept that. So as a whole, so the third party in the society can't argue that because the two expert partners came to one platform and they have issued audit opinion. So then finally it's a quality deliverable, right? Audit report may be a conclusion with two experts. So then other parties can't argue on that. That's why we have audit quality review. So that is a compulsory element in the Big Four firm, especially for complex audit like bank, insurance companies, whatever the listed companies, there should be a quality review. Because there should be a third eye to audit. Third eye can analysis partners gas දෙකයි. තව partner කෙනෙක්ගේ high level review එක. එයාගේ gas දෙකම ඕනේ නැහැ. එකින් එකකින් බැලුවොත් ඇති කියන්නේ. So then around this, whatever the questions to your exam, it's very easy. Audit team related questions. You can think. So we are moving to audit quality. Quality. To measure the quality, but we should have standards. Complying with these standards enhance the quality. Quality outcome එකක් ගන්න. So the outcome should be perfect if it's a quality process. What actually quality can maintain it? Now, that the quality is here can form. You put it garden. This nature again, set එකක් කියන්නේ. සමහර වෙලට එහෙමත් තියෙනවා. ක්ලික් කරන එක විතරයි මොනවද තියෙන්නේ corporate reporting subject එකවත් දන්නේ නැහැ. audit report වල content එකවත් දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තමයි quality core component එක. audit opinion එක focus. That's the core outcome. So that should be quality. So that should be deliver on time. අවුරුදු ගාණක් ගිහිල්ලා repeat very අවුරුදු 5ක් විතර කරලා dictate කරන එක quality එක නේද? On time you have to do that. On time you have to release audit opinion. Right? Then your results. What number of A passes, what number of classes in this, right? So that's a core outcome. And then the trips and the unity and the WhatsApp groups you have, number of WhatsApp groups you have, maybe a sub quality aspects. Even part එකක්, but even core part එකක් නෙමෙයි. core component එකයි outcome එකයි mix කරගන්න එපා. ඒකට by product එකක් focus කරනකොට core focus එක miss වෙනවා. Right? Focus about the real outcome, the quality of real outcome. Right? So then other aspects may be sub quality aspects. Right? Quality aspect, audit also same, right? So the quality of the audit report is the core component. We have to have sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to minimize the audit risk to acceptable low level to issue a reasonable audit opinion. It should be the correct audit opinion. Right? And plus you have to have proper documentation as well. Keep in mind, to have that we should have a proper audit team. To have that we should have a proper audit engagement letter. To have that we should have a proper engagement acceptance. Right? Okay. With that understanding, for today, that's enough, no? Right. For today, that's enough. So we ended with audit quality. So the next week, we are starting from here. So then you are in the journey of starting audit, right? So the planning and the assessment. Still we are in initial planning activities. We went to audit, we accept audit, we created the engagement letter, we know the benefit of that, we have that audit team එකත් එක්ක audit එකට ගිහිල්ලා audit එක කරන විදිය ගැන තමයි ඉස්සරහට කතා කරන්නේ, right? So let's ready for that. So the hope you are reading about this with your experience. So then you can cross-check with your experience, argue that, and then you can have quality outcome. So then we clean up with another effective lesson next week. Thank you. For the people who joined with virtual class, for today that's it. We'll meet up with another effective lesson next week from quality aspect. All right. Thanks.